award-winning Tennessee Wildcast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee Wildcast. Welcome to Worley World. We are having a great time out here with Mr. Darryl Worley. So we're all so thankful to be at his place, and we're hanging out in the barn today, and it's going to be a fun conversation.
Absolutely, man. I didn't know you was going to use that. I like it.
that may be the title of this show. I don't know.
He may be adopting that.
Yeah. Mr. Don King always helping me co-host.
You bet. I'm glad that Amy's on vacation this week, so I get to.
I'm glad you're here, man. I hadn't seen you in a while.
I know. Appreciate the invite.
Well, we almost closed you out at the gate, and when you pulled up, I was like, "Look at here,
another green truck coming through."
I tell you what, we're just so thankful to be out here and hang out with you, Darryl, and talk hunting, fishing, talk the outdoors.
Yeah.
And,
thanks for coming.
It's going to be a fun show, I
Absolutely.
think.
Like I said, we got you out here in the barn, because of all this COVID stuff. We're dealing with some of that with our family right now, so I appreciate you guys being understanding on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all want to be safe. It's tough times right now, and a lot of our families have been affected by it. And you got to wear those masks and play those roles and just try to do the best we can with it. So.
Exactly.
But we appreciate you having us, and we're just going to hang out and talk today, hunting, fishing, and all kinds of fun stuff. But just tell us a little bit about yourself, Darryl. I mean, most people know who you are, but let's just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up right here in Hardin County, Tennessee, and that right there carries a whole lot of weight. I mean, if you don't know anything about Hardin County, this is kind of a unique place. We've got just about everything, that you have to offer in the state of Tennessee. We've got the hill country, which we're up on the plateau here. And then we've got sort of some midland, we call it, sort of the farm ground that's not all the way down in the delta. And then we've got the delta down right on the river. So it's a beautiful county. I grew up around Pickwick Dam, so I've fished all my life and hunted. That's really about all we had to do around here, unless you picked a guitar or a banjo or played piano. We got into the music pretty early too. But my dad was a paper maker, and mom did a lot of different stuff. But she worked at the bank, and we stayed here most of my life. And Dad went into the full-time ministry when I was about to start high school, and he drug us around all over the state. The Methodists move you around like you're in church, like you're in the Army,
Yeah.
So we did that for a little while and then came back here. But, outside of my travels with the music all over the world, I've pretty much been a West Tennessean all my life. And we're real close to Muscle Shoals, just right down the road here. And that's kind of where I started out in the music. And then figured out that I was going to have to make the move to Nashville to get any of that big money. I went up there and started writing songs, and then all the rest of it, happened. But thankful that you guys are here today, and excited to see y'all and have you down at Worley World.
And I remember learning early on too that you had a time where you're doing some commercial fishing too.
Oh yeah,
probably just down there on the river, I guess. Right?
Well, we started off, fishing quite a bit right there below Pickwick Dam. Started off, just throwing some hoop nets out and things like that, and I remember thinking as a younger man, this could be lucrative. Back then you don't think about what it's doing to your back and stuff like that.
Right.
And so catfish, we fished for catfish and supply. At that time, you could sell them to local restaurants and places. It wasn't. The government didn't have control over all that at that time, and we caught tons of catfish, but. And we sold some away from here, but the buffalo market was good. And then we got into this whole thing of spoonbill fishing, paddle fish for the eggs. And, and back then it wasn't regulated near like it is now, and there was a lot of money to be made. So I made a lot of my college money that way.
All right.
I may still have some of that money.
Well, we were chatting before the show, and we'd learned a little bit about you before, but you've been had your hands in a lot of things. I mean, paddle fishing is one of them, or commercial fishing. But then you went to school to be a biologist, right?
Yeah, I wound up taking more chemistry than I had planned on it, and so my plan was to get out of there. I've graduated down here at UNA, but I went my first 2 years to Martin and Pulaski, which is now it's a 4-year university, but the little Methodist college. But so I decided I was going to go into med school because UNA has a really strong science department, and they were getting a lot of their students placed in different med schools all over the country. And
Neat.
I had a really good GPA, and I thought, man, I'll just go on and do this. But I didn't want to like have a general practice. My mind was kind of set on maybe being a trauma surgeon or something, because I get close to people real fast, and I would be it'd be difficult for me to see after people for years and then have to lose them. It'd just be
right.
I watch these doctors around home deal with it, and it's like, man, that'd be hard. And so I'm thinking 8 more years of this. I don't know. So I took a year off and told my dad, I said, I'm just going to write some songs and chill. And man, I started writing, and all that stuff started taking place really fast.
Yeah,
I mean, Muscle Shoals is where I wound up writing for Rick Hall down there at Fame for 5 years. And, I didn't ever dream that some of the songs that I'd already written would be songs that they would actually take an interest in, and they said, "Man, these are good songs." I'm like, "Really?" So that's kind of how I got out of the whole biology thing. So
Started writing and making a living. That's fun.
Yeah.
Man, that's great.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to travel and play and do all that fun stuff. I know you've made a great career out of it.
It's a ton of fun. It gets a little less fun as you grow older. I mean, and if you've got family. But in the moments, like we were out this weekend, we did 2 big like dance halls kind of deals in Florida, and it was me and Brian White and Wade Hayes. It's kind of a across the front of the stage acoustic thing. We just take turns playing songs and telling stories, and I mean, it's just as much fun and just as much of a blessing as it ever has been. I mean, I think everyone has a purpose. I think God makes us for something, and if mine's not being on that stage playing and entertaining people, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
And I'm pretty sure I have more fun than they do.
Well, you came and played for us for the Southeastern Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies a few years ago, and you wowed the crowd. At the end of the night, I'm telling all the listeners and the people watching this show, a standing ovation. It was just one of those magic moments. You know how you can plan for a lot of stuff, but a lot of times the best moments are the ones that are not so much planned.
They are. You're absolutely right.
And but anyway, we really had a great night that night, and I appreciate your input, and it was really neat what you had to say to all the folks that work in wildlife, day in and day out.
Yes.
You had some good insight for them, and that was cool.
I tell you, I've always been real honest about it. I've been on both sides of it, and I've come to realize in the past 25 years just how difficult our officers, our conservationists, all the different people that work in it. Man, it's a crazy world that we live in, and I just love being supportive, and we've got some of the best guys here in our county. I ran their legs off this deer season. We talked a little bit about that, but when you call, I tell you, they get here as fast as they can, and I'm blessed. We're all blessed, and that was one of the reasons that I wanted to reach out to y'all and try to help with this stuff. If any of us can do a little promo or something that helps get the word out and spread the news about what's really going on, because I've noticed if you educate people, even out here in the boondocks where we live, if they find out, if you say, hey man, that's where the money comes from. Otherwise we wouldn't have all this. And Tennessee's blessed, man.
Right.
We are blessed. I mean, it's insane. So yeah, I'm a big supporter and want to do what I can to help.
Well, we really appreciate that. Yeah, people don't understand sometimes how we're funded and
right.
what pays the bills, what puts more wildlife out there for them and protects what we have.
Exactly.
So we appreciate you helping us spread the word. For sure.
I didn't know you was a drummer.
Hey, there you go. we can start a band right here.
We've got a band. And I didn't know this was an award-winning show. I don't get on many of those.
Hey, this is your lucky day.
I already feel that.
Oh, man. But
Hey, speaking of award-winning, I gotta hand it to Darryl. One of my all-time favorite songs, "Have You Forgotten?"
Thank you.
2003 was that? Was that
Yep.
the year? And what a message in that song. And I know you and Win Varble were two of the writers. And
That's it. That's just
okay. Just the two of you guys. Okay, man. It was a powerful song.
Thank you.
7 weeks at #1.
Yeah.
Man, that was.
It's pretty. I have to go back and think about that part of that experience sometimes and give it a moment to sink in, because not too many people have a song that stays that long
Right.
at the top. And,
Exactly.
And so, I've been frustrated in the past because this song or that song didn't go to #1, and then all of a sudden I think, well, you had one that was up there for 7 weeks. You may have got all yours collectively, but man, it's just been a true blessing in my life, and I love the fact that I got to do that with a guy that's one of my best friends. He's just real. Well, you guys know him. He's like myself. He's just real normal guy. We're not big flamboyant people, and
Right.
we just live a real simple country life and make a little music on the side, So, but that song has taken me all over the world. Probably the best things in my life, experience-wise, for myself personally, to go into the war zone as many times as we got to do that, and
thanks for doing that.
and entertain our troops. I'm telling you right now, and not all USO stuff. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think when they hear, "Oh, he's been in the war zone," that he must have traveled with the USO, and they have envision a big, huge stage at a big, huge air base somewhere where it's all
real safe.
right?
Yeah.
And man, that's not even half of the kind of stuff that we did. We've been on tours over there when we never saw a base, when we went strictly to like safe houses and visited special forces and Navy SEAL teams, and so I mean, some of those experiences money could never buy that, and I am so thankful, eternally thankful for it. And that song has just afforded me a whole bunch of crazy stuff like that.
It
So
means
I'm
a lot to a lot of people too, though.
real grateful.
It's a powerful song.
I rewatched the video recently, and I was really proud to see James Stroud
I knew you was going to say that.
playing the drums in there, and he's a current commissioner right now, and he's about to rotate
I didn't know
off.
that.
But he spent the
did not
last
know
few
that.
years with us, and so anyway,
It looked like he hadn't swung them sticks in a while, though, didn't it? I said, look at James. He's kind of got a little. But no, I was the one that asked him to do that. He sort of got part of his early, swagger, if you will, coming out of that Muscle Shoals scene. But Rick Hall thought he was one of the best drummers that's ever passed through down there. And of course, James is from Shreveport. But it was funny when I left home and moved to Nashville. I said, I'm going to find James Stroud, and he's going to produce my first record. I had nothing to do with it, but that's how it turned out.
Oh,
so,
neat.
So yeah, I asked him if he'd play on it. He said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Well, I mean, if you would," and he did. So that's cool.
that's good.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, Darryl, what are you doing when you're not playing music? You're outside, right?
Yeah. My wife vouched for that. This whole virus thing hasn't affected my personal life a whole lot. Obviously, family, it's been different because of her situation with her mother and stuff. But I just stay out all the time. The sauger biting right now. If the boat motor's tore up, I'll go fish off the bank and catch just as many as the guys in the boats. And we've got some of the best deer hunting and rabbit hunting, and man, we hunt stuff that people don't even know about around here. So I can't imagine that. If I was looking back on my life, I would say, oh, I should have spent that time outside or that time outside, because this is where I love to be.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons we're standing in the barn.
Hey, I'm enjoying it.
Hey, we're out of the wind. We're good.
That ain't bad.
So tell us about your deer season this year. I know I've seen a few pictures and video. You had some success.
Yeah, it was good. The best thing for me is always, passing this on to my daughter. And I killed a pretty decent buck this year with my bow. And it was a really exciting hunt. I killed a decent buck with my gun, but it wasn't the buck I thought it was. And that happens. It's all on video. I can't deny it. And then she came toward the end of the season. She shot an 8-point, a really beautiful little 8-point. Actually, I said little. It's bigger than the deer I killed. And shot it at 265 yards.
Wow.
Which
Sharpshooter.
she had to use my gun. I told her, I said, no, you can't shoot it with your gun. You can shoot it with mine. But, Daddy, it's so loud and it kicks harder. I said, you can suck it up, you know. I said, but she was so cool, and she took her time, got dialed in, and she looked at me and said, Dad, I got this. And and she just put the smack down on him. So that was probably the highlight of my deer season. Except we go to Ohio the first week in January every year, and we do a big veterans hunt where we take vets out to hunt those monster Ohio deer, and we killed some just ridiculous bucks up there, and all the guys got deer, and man, to see what it does for those veterans, some of those guys coming into those hunts don't really even know what it could do for them,
right?
And when they realize, it's such a challenge, and if you we just don't quit till everybody's got a deer. It's insane, but when you score, it's you can just see it, and we've got testimonials of those guys saying, who would have thought that coming out and killing a big whitetail would make this much difference? But I think more than anything, it's the love that we show them, and man, it's a great week. So went straight up there for that, and everything went great.
Awesome.
So been a really, really good. I mean, is there a bad deer season?
No. Sitting in the woods is a great time. Any time, whether it's a deer on the ground or not.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great to hear that you're taking your daughter out, and that's what it's all about, passing it on to
absolutely
younger generations.
My dad did for me, and I just spoke with him just before you guys got here. Told him what I was doing, and it thrilled him. It's so much of who we are around here, and especially my family. And I know sometimes we're all talking about it, and I see people on the outside looking in, going, "Man, these guys are crazy." That's all they talk about. But we look at those people and think those people are crazy. They don't even know what we're talking about.
Right.
It's a different. It's so great to be outdoors. It's just a different feeling, and
it's kind of a different culture, even.
Yeah.
And I love bringing people in to be a part of it that know nothing at all about it. We're thinking, we've been working on it for a couple of years. We're thinking about doing a thing here because we do shoot some deer here with veterans as well. And we're thinking about doing a thing here at my farm called The Experience, where we take maybe like a father and a son that have no clue, but that would love to go through and
start
with putting a scope on a rifle and zeroing it in and all the way through the whole process.
Yeah.
And we could also film a lot of that stuff and use it for promo, and we've talked about that a lot. And the guys that we work with do a little production stuff for, they're like, dude, when you're ready to do that, just let us know.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a spiritual thing,
Definitely.
And
definitely.
So we're just gonna keep it alive as long as we can, and. My little girl loves it.
Oh, that's neat. I bet. Sounds like she really made you proud.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. I mean, my wife she's not a trigger puller. She would. I mean, we've had that discussion. She certainly would if it was one of those situations where we needed her to. But she's a real big animal lover, and but I mean I've pulled up and left a deer in the back of the mule and run to the store to get me a sandwich and a drink and come back. My wife have the deer gutted and hung up. So and she'll
awesome.
she'll work one up.
Yeah.
The whole process, the whole thing. She's not scared at all, and so I got a pretty good situation. And they love
the
to skin,
freezer.
They
Yeah.
love to skin squirrels and fish. They're
Oh,
all
neat.
They're all about it. And I'll do my biology thing. I'll get in there and show them the chambers of the heart and all that stuff. And, they're just wowed by it. So it's all trickery. It's smoke and mirrors.
Hey, I hate to get back to COVID, but it did kind of remind me that you're talking about getting folks out and getting them the experience and the education they need. It's almost unbelievable, but it's a fact that 200,000 people bought a license this year that had never bought a license before.
I didn't know that.
It's amazing.
In Tennessee?
In Tennessee. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
that is so huge.
if there's a positive, could be one.
Man, that thrills me though, because that's just a message that I talk to people all the time, people at our church, people in our life, and I'm like, get outdoors,
Yeah.
People, well, we're dealing with this, or in our family, I'm like, get outdoors.
Yeah.
Take them to, and I see it work. It's like therapy for people.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't know what. Well, yeah, we'd kill one another without it. but that just thrills me to hear that, because honestly, that's kind of the only answer in these times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's evident. Like, I've got friends up on the lake that had the best year they've ever had with their businesses and stuff,
Uh-huh.
and because they're right there on the water, and I'm like, well, people are getting out.
Yeah.
And getting out in wide open spaces where you
Right.
can spread out and enjoy life. I mean, it makes sense to me. So I'm glad to hear that. I ought to know that number, but I didn't.
It's amazing to see how people have found the outdoors again, or trying it out for the first time even.
Absolutely. Some of them are. You're absolutely right. I was talking to a guy that I know. He's hired me several times to come to places in Oregon and Idaho to play little venues, but it's where he builds these big outdoor RVs and stuff.
Okay.
He has a company, and he said, "Man, we're on fire." I said, "I bet you are." And he said, "It's people that have never, even camped out." Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool.
And we've had Earl Bentz on our show recently too, and same with the boat business.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's going nuts too.
Yeah. I tell you, though, you got to watch some of those folks, because I do know that a lot of them that have never been out there to boat, you just kind of be aware of that.
Just because you can afford it doesn't necessarily mean you know how to drive it.
Yeah, from your mouth to his ears.
Yeah. This is a good time to throw in tnwildlife.org, find your hunter ed classes and your boater ed classes.
boat ed classes, yes.
Absolutely.
Be safe when you're going out there.
We're getting ready to do Savannah's hunter ed. She didn't have to have it to hunt here on our property. We didn't know that, and I thought, I checked into it, found that out. But my situation my thing with that is that it doesn't matter who you are or where you're hunting. You should have it, because my daddy was extremely cautious and just pounded it into us, safety, and I've been shot twice.
Wow.
So that is, to me, that's something I'll always throw out there, because I believe it's a positive message. Not that I got shot twice, but I couldn't have had a better father when it comes to gun safety.
Uh-huh.
And we practice it day in and day out. Still, those things are dangerous, and you will have accidents. I don't care. So you've got to take your hunter safety. You got to be careful. You got to always think safety when you're dealing with guns, man. It's serious.
Definitely.
Trust me, it's serious.
Definitely. Well, speaking of safety and tips, what's something some tips you'd give folks wanting to get outside and get outdoors? Just whether it's hunting or fishing or camping or whatever it may be.
Well, hunting and fishing, is like. It's like, if you took that away from me, you might as well lock me up. So I would say someone who's never been around it and knows nothing about it, find someone like me, and let somebody bring
your phone number out.
My wife would say you might as well. Everybody else has already got it. That's what she'd say, and there's some truth in that. But all jokes aside, I mean, you can read about it, and there's all kinds of stuff online. Obviously, you guys do an incredible job with that. But if you find someone and you can, people like myself will certainly enjoy helping you get started. That would be my first suggestion is find you somebody that can kind of just help to bring you up to speed. You know, come over to the house. We'll sight that rifle in or that kind of stuff. As far as just getting out and camping and stuff, man, I'm a little partial to this area. Yeah. I'm a homie. I love Hardin County. Of course, Wayne and McNary are part of home to me too. My mother was born right over here in Lutz, just across the county line, and we know that part of the world real well as also. But man, all over this state, the resources are insane. And you know, people would say, "Well, we got better deer hunting there." It's according to what you're looking for.
Yeah, right. Right.
So all I can tell you is none of it is bad. And just like if you just mentioned Pickwick, it's probably one of the most visited lakes in our state as far as fishing is concerned. I mean, I see people, you know, I used to run into Bill Dance up there all the time, and there's just as many other big names in that business that come here, and we year round you can catch something.
Yeah.
And so I'd just say, don't let the fact that you don't know anything about it hold you back, because it's not that complicated.
Yeah.
And somebody will help you out, especially in Tennessee.
Somebody you go to church with,
That's
somebody
right.
you work with, no doubt is into it, and all you got to do is ask them.
That's exactly right.
I've never heard anybody get turned down.
No,
you know, from an outdoors person.
Because that's what we want to do.
Exactly.
We want more people involved and pass it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Pass it on.
Yeah.
I say that a lot. I think it's important. And go to GoOutdoorsTennessee.com, pick up your license, and then run to Walmart and get you a rod and reel and go have fun, or find you a mentor, get outside. It's a great time to be outdoors. It's going to be turkey season before you know it.
It will.
So
they were out this morning too.
Yeah.
Just begging somebody to shoot them.
Well, give them a month or so, and we'll be out there. So.
I'm not going to get in any hurry.
Well, we appreciate you, Darryl.
Yes, sir.
It's been fun. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Absolutely, man. This place, like I said, Worley World is always open to y'all.
Check out Darryl's music online too. You know,
By the way, I just started throwing down on this TikTok. Didn't know anything about it, so y'all check it out on TikTok. I'm growing my numbers.
Okay, all right.
What's your handle on social media?
Just Darryl Worley, I guess.
All right, find Darryl
on
Worley.
TikTok, it's official Darryl Worley.
Okay, all right.
Because there's a bunch of them out there trying to, impersonate me, and it just ain't working out.
Nobody can do that.
No, sir.
I bet none of them are as tall as you.
Not a one. I was thinking about y'all when we first started doing this. I thought, man, it's going to look odd. Probably they're doing Sasquatch and calling him Darryl Worley.
Oh man, well this has been great. Thank you, Darryl.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for watching. Keep coming back and go check out Darryl's stuff online. It's going to be a lot of fun stuff to watch out there. So keep coming back, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee Wildcast will be on the air again next week.